I'm finding my favorite espresso in the Bay Area. I began with a list of 75 coffee shops and I'm down to the selective 6. This is the final video in the series covering the semifinals and the championship round. Let's get started. My favorite shop that doesn't roast their own beans in the South Bay is Circle A Skateboards and Coffee in San Jose. They're a skateboard shop with a great espresso bar serving Wrecking Ball coffee from San Francisco. Wow, that smells good. It smells kind of sweet and super fresh. I don't even know how to describe that. Smells like breakfast to me in a way. Yeah, like a sweet granola. That's what I'm getting almost. Ooh, wow, that's really good. Dang. It's very sweet. And it's a deeper sweetness, almost like a chocolate. Like a drinking chocolate. Maybe a little bit of plum or like deeper fruit flavors as well. Molassesy, caramelly, those darker sweetnesses. A plum-infused chocolate is what I'm tasting in here. Which is something I want to try now. The texture is really nice. It's rich and velvety, but it also has a sort of clarity and clean feeling to it. Like it fits the warmer summer weather. There is a nice tart acidity too. It's definitely not too much, and it's not even the first thing that I experience, but it just has sort of a lively quality. Like an orange zest. Not super bright, but definitely noticeable. Wow, that's really good. My favorite roaster in the South Bay is Coffee Bar. They claim their Menlo Park location is one of the busiest coffee shops in the world, and they have an excellent decaf roast. Smells like rich, nutty, molassesy. Yeah, definitely like a sweetness, but has a lot of body to the scent. It's really nice. There's a lot of intensity to the flavor. Really hits your mouth pretty strong. There's definitely an acidity. It's not too bright, but it's definitely present. Like there's a tangy sort of attack to the flavor. And underneath that initial attack is a very strong body. Almost like a woody, nutty, sort of very rich, earthy body at the mid layer. There's definitely a sweetness in there as well. It kind of hits at the top in the midst of that tanginess. There's like a berry-like sweetness, kind of like a blueberry or raspberry, something quite sweet and actually a little bit more reserved. Yeah, that woody kind of earthiness is really interesting. It creates a sense of body that is pretty unique in my experience. It's just very full and rich. The texture is medium-bodied, I would say. It's not too thick, but it's not too thin. Like there's definitely texture there and you can feel it on your tongue. But the flavor is really what is taking my attention here. Alright, who wins? Both of these, of course, were excellent. Super good. Actually, some of the better shots that I've had from both Circle A and Coffee Bar. Like the shot that I had today from Circle A was the best shot from there that I've had. And the shot from Coffee Bar, similarly, was one of the better shots that I've had of theirs. So it's a very difficult choice. Circle A had a lot of clarity and sort of a crispness, and it felt like summery and light in a way that was really pleasant to me. Coffee Bar was sort of the opposite end of the spectrum, where it was super rich and a lot going on, a very intense flavor experience. And I noticed that I'm leaning toward that intensity, that richness of flavor. I can't even say that Coffee Bar is necessarily better, but it just matches with what I'm looking for right now. And so I can finally say Coffee Bar is my favorite espresso in the South Bay. To find my favorite espresso in the East Bay, I first went to Devout Coffee in Fremont. It's a beautiful shop set against the foothills, and there always seem to be classic cars around. It smells really good. It smells sweet. Sweet, like a little bit of fruitiness, like a blueberry, not super tart sweet, almost like a Fruit Loops cereal or Fruity Pebbles sort of thing. Wow, that's very, very good. It tastes super fresh, very lively and sweet. Like all the flavors are kind of really readily revealing themselves to me. It feels very easy to taste. Like there's a lot of clarity. It has more of a tartness than I imagined based on how it smelled. And it's kind of a sweet tartness, almost like a strawberry jam or a raspberry jam. Something where there's a tartness, but it's also very, very sweet at the same time. There's a hint of that like Blue Moon ice cream, sweet almond, maybe even a blue raspberry, maybe lime. The tartness is sort of like a unique citrus. I could definitely drink a lot more.
Blue Bottle, based in Oakland, is one of the Bay Area's most commercially successful coffee shops. I'm at their shop in Jack London Square.
It smells rich and caramelly. Yeah, much heavier flavors. It smells thicker somehow. Man, that is really good. The flavor is what I would call earthy. It has a very sort of dark, I don't know if grassy is the right word, or woody, like almost like an oak-aged whiskey or something like that. There is a hint of sweetness as well, but it's very rich, like molasses, plum, almost like a mango, but a very dark, like caramelized mango flavor, if you could caramelize mango. I don't know if that's possible, but the texture is also quite kind of chalky and soft, like maybe silky. It feels like it's coating my tongue, but in a gentle sort of way. It's not too heavy. That texture reminds me of mango. There's a little bit more bitter in the flavor profile. It feels as if it's a little bit more heavily roasted, but definitely not too much. It's like maybe a medium roast where it's right on the line where I can start to taste those dark, roasty, nutty qualities, but I can also still taste the coffee underneath the roast. Okay, let's talk winners. Devout and Blue Bottle are so different from one another. So it's almost like comparing apples to oranges, and I definitely wouldn't say that one is better than the other necessarily. I noticed that my preference is more toward Devout because there's just like a little bit more liveliness. It felt like it was a little bit lighter roasted. I felt like I could taste the flavors very readily. It was also a little bit more on the sweet side. It wasn't like ultra sweet, but that sweetness was really pleasant, and there's a lot less bitter in the flavor profile at Devout than there was at Blue Bottle. That said, Blue Bottle is super rich and molassesy and caramelly, like very intense and heavy as an experience, and I can definitely see being in the mood for exactly that, particularly like on a cold, rainy day like this. But overall, I'm more excited about going back to Devout than I am to Blue Bottle, and so Devout wins it for me.
First in the San Francisco semifinals is Equator Coffees in Marin County, north of the Golden Gate Bridge.
It smells really nice, almost like a blackberry. Yeah, very sweet, very fresh, kind of fruity, but not overwhelmingly fruity. It's really good. It's very berry forward, I would say, but a little bit darker berries, like blackberry, blueberry, like a very deep raspberry, but that's even a little too bright. There's some more developed sweetnesses in there too, like a cane sugar or a caramel molasses. It's a pretty rich flavor experience. Gosh, that scent is so bright and pleasant, even like after I've sipped it a few times. There's a lot of clarity here too. The texture is like medium bodied, I would say. It's not like super thick, but it's very clear, like it really facilitates tasting all of the different flavors that are going on. It's really nice.
Next is Flywheel Coffee Roasters, which has been one of my staples in the city since I first got a coffee to sip while browsing for music at Amoeba Records.
Wow, it smells really rich and roasty. A little more of developed sweetness. It smells like very little acidity. Ooh, wow. That's really nice. It's a warm and thick sort of sweetness, like a molasses or gingerbread dough. That texture is really rich and thick. It's so delightful on my tongue. It's as if I can taste different things, like different elements of the flavor profile on different parts of my tongue, but I can perceive it better than usual because it's so thick. It like takes time to travel across my tongue. There's something purple about the flavor profile, like maybe like a grape or a plum, some sort of dark cooked fruit sweetness, like a plum pie almost. There's like a hint of a spicy quality to it. Like not spicy as in hot, but spiced. Like a cinnamon or ginger or clove, something like that. It's definitely not a very acidic espresso at all. One of the lower acidity espressos that I've had, but there's still some liveliness to it. Man, it's like a really nice candy, or like almost like a dark chocolate with like a candied orange or something in it. It's really, really good. All right, let's talk winners. Equator today was really, really clean and crisp. There was a lot of clarity to the flavor. Really, really well done. But I noticed for me, I lean toward kind of more rich textures and rich flavor experiences, more so than clarity. And Flywheel was exactly that. It was super rich in its mouthfeel and texture, and it had a ton going on in the flavor profile too. And for that reason, Flywheel is my favorite espresso in San Francisco.
It's the championship round. First up is Flywheel Coffee Roasters, the finalist from San Francisco.
Oh, that smells really delightful. It smells kind of sweet, like a cooked berry, like a raspberry or cherry pie. Ooh, wow, that's really good. It's very sweet, kind of like a syrupy, like cookie dough sort of sweetness. Maybe pie crust. I'm liking that pie comparison because there's definitely a fruity component to it. A little more like cooked berries, though, like pie filling. It's not very bright or acidic. It tastes very fresh, too. Very lively. But still, it's not bright or biting. It's a very, like, kind of more rich, tamed, cooked sugars like caramel, molasses sort of experience. The texture is very full, solid, and weighty on my tongue.
Next, I'm back at Devout Coffee in Fremont, my top pick from the East Bay.
Wow, it smells really good. It smells kind of similar to Flywheel, actually, where it's noticeably sweet and a little bit of a subdued berry smell, like cooked fruit. A little bit more melon, though. The other, Flywheel was more berries, cooked berries. This is more like a honeydew, cantaloupe sort of, a less tart fruit flavor. Gosh, that's really good. It's a little more on the bright side, I would say. Definitely not too biting, though. It's not incredibly strong. Just in comparison to Flywheel, it's a little bit more kind of upfront. Definitely some sweetness in there, but it is kind of a relaxed, not very aggressive sweetness. Honeydew, cantaloupe, maybe mango sort of sweetness. Not a bright sweetness like a berry. This also tastes very, very fresh. It's really tasty. The very beginning of the aftertaste turns a little bit kind of bitter to me, or maybe tart. But then the aftertaste kind of turns back toward kind of tasty, actually, like those melon sorts of notes. It's really interesting. It's just like a little blip of time, a very short duration of time where it goes a little bit bitter. The texture is a little bit thinner. It's definitely not thin, but it's thinner than Flywheel. I would say it's medium-bodied. There's definitely texture to it, but it's also very kind of clear and smooth at the same time. Some more developed sugars too, kind of like a caramel or molasses, maybe even gingerbread dough. It's very nice.
And finally, my favorite in the South Bay, Coffee Bar.
There's a rich, sweet, kind of doughy, caramelly scent. That's really nice. The texture is definitely the most thick and rich. That really jumps out at me first. It's a bit on the brighter side. There's definitely a solid acidity right up front when you sip. There's definitely a sort of developed sweetness, like kind of cooked sugars like caramel, molasses, that sort of thing. Although the intensity of that sweetness is relatively low. It's not a very sweet espresso, but those are the things that are coming through. I would say it's overall kind of bright, maybe a little bit earthy even, and then the sweetness kind of sits on top of that base. There's a hint of like a nut, like that roasted almond or Blue Moon ice cream sort of thing. It's very subtle. It's quite nice. All right, let's talk winners. I'm so pleased that I did this bracket because this whole experience has been really amazing. I've had so much excellent coffee. All three of these had very similar flavors. Clearly, I am chasing a very particular thing, and that's still really fascinating to me. And for me, Flywheel had the best kind of balance of a really good flavor and a really good texture. It had the most sweetness, it had the most kind of complexity, and there was a clarity to the richness, if that makes sense. Like there was a lot going on, but I could taste all the individual pieces of it really distinctly and easily. And the other two had very similar characteristics, but just not quite as much. Coffee Bar lacked some of that clarity. It felt very busy and rich, which I do enjoy. but Flywheel was able to do that sort of very rich, very intense experience, but also have a sort of delicateness to it and a clarity that the other two didn't quite have. And so for that reason, Flywheel is my favorite espresso in the entire Bay Area.
After 75 shops and 4 rounds, I can definitively say that Flywheel Coffee Roasters makes my favorite espresso in the Bay Area. It's been a ton of fun taking on this project, and hopefully it's been of some use to anyone watching. Until next time, thank you for exploring with me.